In today's video, we're going to check out the Moto G Play 2026 edition. This device features a large display, a large battery. We have a headphone jack, expandable storage, as well as stereo speakers, meaning this device not only is going to last you very long, but you also have some customization options that flagship devices don't even have. Without further ado, this is TK, and this is the Moto G Play 2026 edition. Let's check it out and see what makes it so special. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So in front of us is the Moto G Play, again, the 2026 edition, just launched from Motorola. First and foremost, I'll start by saying this is a device that's coming in at a very affordable price point. This is a budget device from Motorola, but I feel like it's also going to be one of the contenders for a lot of carriers in the US, as this is going to be available on them. The one that I have right now is unlocked, so you are able to pick it up this way, but shortly after releasing it, it's going to be available from different carriers, and that may even give you a better price point than what you're getting right now. And what I mean by this, out of the box, when this device is launching, it is actually launching at $180. And yes, what you heard is a sub 200 price point, also featuring some amazing features that we don't usually even get. And what I'm referring to is the features that this device are offering us. At the price point that we're talking about that this coming in, first and foremost, we're looking at a 6.7-inch 120 Hz refresh rate display. Also, we have a fingerprint scanner that's positioned directly into the power button, so I can just lock it there, unlock it, put my finger on it, it unlocks. 120 Hz refresh rate, it is a 720p resolution display. We have a volume rocker here on the top right, but we also have stereo speakers. At the price point that this device is coming in, we actually have stereo speakers. This is one of Motorola's promises of bringing stereo speakers to their entire lineup of devices, is holding up really nicely. I mean, we're talking about the fact that there are some $1,000 plus phones that don't even have that. But we also have the ability of using a headphone jack. This is something that, again, a lot of devices don't even have. It also has a built-in FM tuner, which is, again, a very functional option there. We have USB-C for charging. It does actually have a nice, very large, actually, 5200 milliampere battery. The USB-C charging option here will charge it at 18 watts, so it's definitely very nice. The 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as the stereo speakers, make this very unique. It does support Wi-Fi. It also supports Wi-Fi 5 GHz, so no Wi-Fi 6. It's powered by the Dimensity 6300 chipset from MediaTek, so it's definitely also very nice. Now on the back, although you kind of see like a quad array of basically circles on the back, it's primarily one main camera that's a 32 megapixel camera. And of course on the front, we also have a punch hole camera that's going to be the main sensor on the front at an 8 megapixel sensor. The display does have slightly larger bezels at the bottom, but again, keep the price point in mind when you're looking at this device. For the most part, I think 6.7-inch display is absolutely fantastic. The battery life that we have on here at the 5200 milliampere means that this is going to last us for almost forever, really, seriously. 120 Hz refresh rate, very nice. The UI elements are very nice. Moto keeps things pretty much almost very minimalistic in a certain way. Swiping down brings up the notification panel, opens up in here. You can go into the settings section, swipe down. It does have 4 gigabytes of RAM built in directly onto this device, but you're able to leverage some of the storage on this device. Now, before we go too far, I do want to mention that they do include a USB-C cable in here, as well as a SIM removal tool and a small instruction manual. The case itself is very nice, small. There's no charger in the box. It is a basically recyclable material in here. And one of the nice things about them is the fact that it just keeps it very simple. Now, I mentioned to you guys that this device has an SD card expansion slot up to 1 terabyte. It does come with 64 gigs of internal storage, and you can install and leverage the applications on your SD card. Now for the RAM option in here, I actually did opt to providing it directly 8 gigabytes from the 64, so I can get the best performance. Out of the box, it does come with 4, and you're able to add an additional from storage. If you use the AI option, it will basically manage it on its own. For me, I prefer to just keep it at the best performance. So leveraging some of the storage to give me better performance for again, using the system in there. It is, again, Moto G Play 2026 edition, and it is obviously featuring some of Motorola's technologies and software, obviously Google Play services. It is unlocked, the model that I have, so you're able to use this on any carrier that you want. The carrier versions that are sold from them will be available locked to their service, of course. Now, I did want to do a quick speed test on this. I was driving on the freeway as I was running this, so overall performance, if you can see here, it does connect to T-Mobile's ultra capacity network, and I was able to clock in 750 down. Although by the time my download speed test was done and I was trying to do the upload speed, unfortunately I went through a dead zone. So the speed to upload here was a little bit lower, but there should be no compatibility issue with US carriers. This is made for our market, so you're not going to have any problems. Now keep in mind, again, this is running Android 16 out of the box, and of course the Geekbench score for the Dimensity 6300 is going to be 794 on single core, 2103 for the multi-core. Again, keep in mind, budget, very budget affordable price point on this device, and again, a beautiful large display to be able to enjoy content on this. It does run at 120 Hz refresh rate, which I have it turned on, and again, you have the Google feed and position everything in there. Now on the cameras, we talked about the fact that it is basically a single camera on the back and a single camera on the front. The chipset that we have and the processing power that we have in here provides us basically a 1080p 30 frames per second resolution video recording. There is no way of modifying that. That's pretty much what you're going to get. You have slow motion option, video, photo mode, portrait mode, pro mode, as well as a couple of additional options in here for basically QR code scanner, panorama, and of course dual capture in there. And what that means essentially is that the best camera that we're going to be able to get on this device is going to be the one on the back. So let's go outside real quick and do a quick sample from the main sensor on the back as well as the main sensor on the front on the Moto G Play 2026 edition. We're going to start off with the front-facing camera on the Moto G Play 2026. This is going to be a 1080p resolution mirrored with the same resolution on the main sensor on the back. Although I feel like the dynamic range should be a little bit better and the processing should be better on the main sensor. But this is an example of what the audio and video sounds like if you're doing a video call or doing a chat or even recording some selfies on the front-facing camera. Let's switch over to the main one on the back. Switching it over to the main sensor on the back, the first thing that we'll notice obviously is the dynamic range. The performance on this gets much better, and that's typical with most smartphones. So keep in mind, if you're looking at this device, you're always going to want to be able to shoot your videos from the main sensor on the back. This is a good example of the audio and video on the main sensor on the back of the Moto G Play 2026 for the price point at this budget, basically very friendly device. Again, MSRP is what I originally had there on the cover, but for the most part, I think you're not going to be disappointed. And when it does come to carriers, the price point will be even better. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this sample. Now, as you saw there in the sample, overall, the performance on the main sensor on the back is going to give you the best image and audio performance. The front-facing camera is actually pretty decent considering the fact that it's an 8 megapixel camera. Again, although we have a 32 megapixel camera on the back, it is primarily going to be shooting at 1080p. And I think consistency between the two is definitely going to be nice. So for casual images and of course video, my recommendation is use the big sensor on the back. It's going to be the best performer for you. But let's go ahead and talk about the stereo speakers. Yes, stereo speakers on a device of this price point. So we're going to put the volume at 100% here. This is our favorite song, Jumbo by NCS Release. We're going to listen to it and see how it performs.
Jack it up.
You know what? For the price point, the sound on this is absolutely fantastic. It's loud enough, it is robust enough, and it's not tingy at all at the top level. And of course, keep in mind, for the lowest latency and even better performing more privately, you can not only use obviously Bluetooth headphones at the Bluetooth 5.4 that we have in here, but we can also use the wired headphones on the bottom. And this is going to be leveraging as well the ability of using the FM tuner that we have in here that's built in, the FM radio built in here. So essentially, you have to turn it on, and what it does essentially is by connecting the headphone jack on the bottom, it allows it to become actually the antenna option for here. And as you can see right there, by connecting the headphone jack into this, you're able to pick up the radio, and again, you can listen to it directly either on the headset themselves, via Bluetooth, or even the speaker on the phone. Definitely a feature that we can appreciate, especially if you ever want to just listen to your FM radios. Although I do wish that they included a headset in there to allow us to be able to use it. So without the headset, unfortunately, the reception is not as good, but at least here for me in the Los Angeles area, I'm able to use this, and you can also record, as you saw that there's a button there for that. Okay, now when it comes down to the gaming experience, again, this is the Dimensity 6300 from MediaTek. This is going to be a very much budget-friendly device, and of course, gaming on this is going to be for casual gaming, absolutely, just in that manner. Although we are featuring 120 Hz refresh rate, I feel like that helps with the UI element. It's not going to be lending any kind of performance experiences that we expect, like some of the AAA titles. But for casual gaming, Asphalt, some of the games that aren't necessarily very power demanding, this is going to do great. Again, as you're seeing there with the example that I'm sharing with you guys, you can definitely leverage the power of the headphone jack if you want to be able to play this privately, and you can definitely obviously listen to it using the speakers. And one of the main things about a device like this, the ability to enjoy content on this on the go, and of course course, streaming it. You have fast connection with 5G on T-Mobile, at least even with the carriers that you're going to pick up, but also leveraging the fact that this is a massive battery, a 5200 milliampere battery with a processor that is not very demanding. Again, keep in mind you're able to add an additional SD card, which means you can also load a lot of content on this device. Yes, it comes with 64, but the expansion option is definitely very much worth it. The SIM tray and obviously the SD card tray is both in the same configuration, and they do include a SIM ejector tool in the box. Now, when we look at a device like the Moto G Play 2026, this is pretty much continuing what Motorola does best. The ability of giving us a UI element or a UI interface that is not very demanding and that runs even on specifications like what we get here. The Dimensity 6300 is definitely a budget-friendly processor that provides us not only single-core but multi-core functionality. The UI overall, after you boot up the device, is actually pretty good. It takes a little bit for it to kind of load up and get everything running in RAM. And for the most part, like I said, I made mine so that it actually leverages 8 gigs from the storage. Now, most likely what you're probably going to end up doing is install some of your applications on the main storage, and of course, leverage some of the additional storage on the SD card, since you're able to go up to 1 terabyte. And those things are actually very, very affordable now. And you can load up all your content there, your music, your videos, anything that you want, and then leverage all of the storage for your images and videos from the device directly on your SD card, and you're not going to have any problems. So from the price point and the functionality that you're getting in there, this is going to be a great budget-friendly phone. Great as a backup phone, an emergency phone, a first-time phone for maybe a young one that's getting into their first device, or even a phone for an elderly person that doesn't really need all of the horsepower that a powerful, flagship needs, but they need a device that will last them for a long time. They really like to have an FM radio, since this is built in, stereo speakers, headphone jack, again, a lot of things that we miss from devices that are way more expensive than this. So it's a very refreshing device, a very affordable device. I hope you guys give it a chance. And if you're thinking about it and thinking about picking one up, again, keep in mind there's going to be an unlocked version and a carrier version available directly either from Motorola or the carriers that you guys have in your area. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to Motorola for allowing me to check out the Moto G Play 2026 edition. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? Like and subscribe as usual. I will see you in the next video.